2024 was my least productive year taking photos to date. So starting this year, my main goal will be to take more photos more consistently. And I think there's a number of reasons why I struggled to take photos last year. So in this video, I'm going to set out some sort of goals for myself and ways that I can try and increase the number of photos I take and therefore increase the number of photos that I am happy with. And I'm hoping that going into 2025, I can force myself, or at least give myself more opportunities, and hopefully start rebuilding sort of a passion for photography again, which is something I think I might have slightly lost. My goal last year was to get a paid shoot and I failed. So I'm hoping that this year I can push myself enough to actually do that. And if I do, I can then bring you along. Hopefully we will get there in 2025. My other kind of goal for 2024 was to be more consistent with YouTube. And I have been able to do that. And from that, I've been able to see that I've got an additional 150,000 views, which is crazy just from 2024 alone. Plus, I was able to double my subscriber count. Not a massive number. I'm now on like 1,100, 1,200 subscribers. It doesn't sound like much, but to me, considering I was posting so infrequently, it feels like a really big step. And I'm very grateful and proud of being able to do that. But as you've probably noticed from my videos, I am not primarily a videographer. I am first and foremost a photographer, and I just happen to be making videos about my photography. The main reason being I looked at it as a way to force myself into taking more photos in 2024. It hasn't worked, but it has allowed me this other opportunity to explore the video side of things, whole new sort of range of skills, which I wouldn't have got obviously just by doing photo. So I am fairly grateful to be able to do that. And I'm proud that I've sort of pushed myself into doing that more. As some of you may know, I work in a camera shop. That means that I'm selling people cameras and giving people advice on cameras day in, day out. That limits my time doing things like this, so I only get 2 days a week where I can do video, and then that also means I have 2 days a week where I could potentially take photos. The upside of that is that I have 2 days a week that I can do that. The downside of that is that when you spend 5 days a week doing photography related work, then your passion for that certain thing that you have as a hobby feels somewhat diminished. Yes, although my photography may have suffered, I've been more consistent with this YouTube and putting out more regular content. And I think that for me, that's been a way to sort of alleviate some of that pressure of taking photos, and has also given me opportunities and reasons to go out and take photos when I wouldn't normally do so. Think of some of the videos that I've done in the last year, the Margate Mal, the testing out the Rolly 35, the Contax G2, things like that, that I wouldn't have had the opportunity really to do if I wasn't working where I'm working. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have access to, say, these cameras and this equipment. But on the flip side, it feels like it's sort of draining my ambition. So I want to force myself to at least have something to shoot. I'm going to say once a month. I would like to start having dedicated shoots, organising shoots, A, to build my portfolio, and B, to help me become slightly more creative with those photos that I'm taking, whether that's someone I know, getting in a model, whatever, anything to give me a reason to go out and shoot. I would also like that to open the door to possibly paid work, but obviously that's going to be a whole nother rabbit hole that we're going to leave, and I'm going to focus more on just sort of regaining my interest and enjoyment in photography, which is something I think, I've struggled with in the last year. One of the most beneficial things that I did for myself last year was purchasing this, which is a Canon R6 Mark II, which obviously I'm primarily using for video for these sorts of things. And you may have seen that there was an increase in quality because previously I was just using a phone. And that's allowed me to get shots and experiment with photography in a way that I hadn't done since previously owning a digital camera, I think back in 2019. So having that option to sort of play around and experiment a bit more has been enjoyable. And I think, especially for the video side of things, that's been a really nice way to sort of play around with different shots, different lighting, different scenarios, and then enjoying sort of the editing process as something separate. And I think that the video aspect of things has allowed me to see that I can play with things a lot more in a lot more creative ways than I previously did with, say, my film cameras. Something I really do need to work on this year is building a more consistent portfolio. If I look back on most of my portfolio, it's kind of more spontaneous shots, which I enjoy shooting, but my then consistency drops because now I'm not being able to find the time to go and shoot those shots. If you go over to my website, and there'll be a link up in the card up there, have a look, see what you think, and if you have any thoughts or opinions, come back and put them in the comments. That would be really useful. I need some sort of constructive criticism on my portfolio and on my website and my work in general, just because I feel like it isn't very cohesive. It feels like a lot of the aspects are sort of disconnected, and I want it to be a more cohesive and a more connected sort of look across the board, which is something I kind of struggle with, keeping it consistent. I know that consistency comes from playing and being creative, which is something that I am trying to do, as previously mentioned, but I need more excuses to take photos so that I can be more creative. Basically, all this is saying is I need to shoot more in 2025. My main hope with this video is that it will allow me to hold myself more accountable for making photos and for being more creative. I want to make the time for myself to go out and take those images that I'm proud of and want to share with other people, but anything to give me a reason to sit behind a camera and take photos that I actually enjoy making and am proud to show to other people, to give myself something to look back on to say, you go and do this, because otherwise I just won't, and I'll put it off. And I want this to be my reason for giving myself a kick up the arse to actually go out. If you're in a similar position to me and you have kind of been coasting with your photography, or you're not happy with where your photography is right now, try this. Just record something like this. Whether you post it or not is not important. Something to have as a reminder of what you want to be doing, what you want from those, and how they would sort of benefit you in the sort of long term potentially, whether that's monetary or not, something to just help give you a reason to go out and take photos. So if you've made it through this little rant, thank you for watching. Hopefully you will see more of me either on Instagram or on YouTube. Any critique of the website would be much appreciated. If you want to see more of my content, don't forget to subscribe, and I will be posting fairly regularly as I need a reason to have invested in this camera. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a good new year.